All right, peace and blessings, and welcome to another episode of YB's Collaboration Corner in conjunction with Self-Publishing 30 Days. I'm your host, Rob YB Youngblood. I serve as the president of sales for Self-Publishing 30 Days, the #1 self-publishing company in the world. And I'm excited to have Deshawn Joseph with me today, AKA Boom. Right now, she probably wasn't expecting me to say that, but I'm gonna tell you what, she and I have a really cool relationship. We have a lot in common. I had the opportunity to work with her last year. She was a part of my LinkedIn recommendation challenge. She was killing the game. She's all over the place on social media, but she's got a special move that she's made. I'm gonna let her tell you the move that she's made, but let me just give you a quick snapshot of who Deshawn is. She's a councilwoman, producer, engineer, speaker. She's a lady of a special sorority, so I'll have her tell you about that as well. I'm not willing to give all of the goodies away because I want to give her some room to shine. But Deshawn, welcome to YB's Collaboration Corner. How you doing today?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me. You're right. I was not expecting the boom. It's still actually growing on my mother. She is still like, what is this boom of what that you have now?
Yeah.
But no, thank you for having me. Like you said, councilwoman, it always feels a little weird when I say that because when you typically think of a councilwoman, you don't think of this. But guess what? We are busting stereotypes left and right.
Left and right.
I am a member of the illustrious Delta Sigma Theta sorority Incorporated.
Come on.
I am a corporate program manager. I am an engineer by trade, and I own my own business. I got really bit by the entrepreneurship bug during the pandemic. So even though this is something I have been doing for 14 years, I finally decided we're going to put an official stamp on it. We're going to go out and we're really going to serve the community and make sure. And I'm doing all things great when it comes to event production, consulting, of course, public speaking. So that's what my business is. It's a full service event production and consulting business. And I am just look, my steps are ordered this year. That's my motto. I am just letting life happen. And then the secret that you let out, which really isn't a secret, I just felt called to do a social media sabbatical, which I know what you're thinking. Doing event production and content creation, social media is kind of my playing field. So when I felt the need to push back for a year, it was a little scary, but I feel like it's important, especially in this part of my business where I'm trying to differentiate myself. I said, I will take the challenge. So a year of no social media. I actually started in December. So it has not been as difficult as I thought it would be, but of course, things are still happening without it. So we're gonna see how things work. So that's my big secret. A whole year of no social media. And
I love it. No, you're dynamic enough that you'll be able to attract opportunities without it. I think it's important that we place social media in its right perspective. I think for a lot of people, social media has been addictive, even for myself. You know what I'm saying? Even though social media is a part of the business of what I operate in, it can be very distracting and addictive because you're so much willing to get information or see what's going on, especially for a certain type of person. Like, so if anybody's taking the DISC assessment, there's a type of person that's a very high I. They're people oriented, they're fast paced, they want to be in the mix. And so to be able to move away from that medium, I applaud you. Let's go back just a little bit, right? So tell us, where are you from originally, and give us a little bit about your backstory.
I'm from the Boot, New Orleans, Louisiana. I came to the DMV area due to college. Like I said, my degree is in engineering, and believe it or not, I always tell the story, engineering chose me. I did not choose it. If you would ask 17-year-old Deshawn, AKA Boom, she was going to Clark Atlanta and she was going to major in mass communications. For some strange reason, video production, music, all of that, of course, in New Orleans, kind of the birthplace of music such as jazz, it was just something that was very important to me. But New Orleans also had, I'm going to say had because we're speaking positivity, a huge colorism complex. So me growing up, I just could not understand. And I'm like maybe 10, 11. Why do I not see people in music videos that look like me? Do they not know we're here? Do they not know we exist? Luckily, I had enough kind of that positivity where I'm like, it's not that they're not choosing us. I just was under the impression they just don't know we exist.
Yeah.
So I just set on a mission. I'm going to be a music video director. I'm going to change it. I'm going to help and do all these great things. Well, guess what? Engineering chose me. Mm-hmm. I'll keep the story real short. I ended up getting an opportunity to get a full academic scholarship. And my mama, like most caring, loving mothers, was like, you going to take the scholarship and you're going to do music video production another time. I'm glad that she actually stepped in because I honestly think I'm a better production person because of my engineering background. I did computer science, which, is coding. So, websites, graphic design, I can do all of that because that was just my interest in my degree. So full ride to Norfolk State University, excelled at Norfolk State, stayed in the area, ended up getting a full ride for my master's degree. So I have never paid for any of my degrees, which is something to be very proud of, right? So I have no student debt, but it was all in engineering and it all just kind of chose me. However, what I really want to make clear in this story is who you are and what you love. It doesn't go away. Right. And it took that pandemic to kind of say, but you still love production. You still love events. You still love this. What are you going to do? You're not feeding this. You're doing well in your career. You're reaching all these, pinnacles and heights and awards, but you still feel like something's missing. So that's when I decided, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to go back to that dream when I was 10 and start event and video production. So I have helped friends and clients do everything from commercial to their business, to hosting their podcast, to hosting their conferences, to even doing video applications for graduate school. And it all started out as just me saying, this is something I still care about. I still think is relevant. Visual storytelling is my thing. I did not know for years that I was just a visual person. I was doing it through fashion. Believe it or not, fashion is visual storytelling. Don't let anyone tell you any different. It's art. But I was able to kind of take things I love, things I'm good at, and just mesh it into 2 careers now, right? Because I still get to do engineering during the day. And then every single other second of the day, I get to work on my own business. And consulting, I actually fell into it. When you're kind of doing great things, people have questions, right? Yeah. They want you to help them. And I'm like, okay, well, let me, teach you everything I've learned. And I actually had people say, hey, can you consult? Can you advise? Can you coach? So it's like, that was something that was not an initial product service offering, but last year I added it because so many people reached out. And I said, you know what? Apparently I'm helping because they keep coming back. So now I've added consulting and the business development I do at work. Now I'm able to, help new entrepreneurs and startups do that for their business. So it has been.
I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing because number one, what you're saying is that your gift made room for you, which is something that I often share with folks, especially on this podcast, just letting folks know to be faithful over their gift because their gift will make room for you. I love the fact that you gave a shout out to Norfolk State University, which is considered baby state, for those who went to Virginia State, but then obviously Virginia Union gave birth to both them schools. So shout out to Virginia Union where I went to school. But no, I love that. And the fact that you mentioned Louisiana, the boot, my family and I had a chance to visit New Orleans right after Christmas, and we caught the Saints game and explored the city. So talk a little bit about the power of collaboration and how has collaboration and connections helped you along your journey in your career, in your business. Talk a little bit about the power of collaboration, and also start with what is your definition of collaboration and how has collaboration influenced you in your business and in your career?
Okay, I'll probably define collaboration as 2 or more like minds coming together for the common or greater good. And I say 2 or more because, of course, where 2 or more are gathered, I'm not gonna make it biblical, but I'm gonna say greatness.
Come on.
It can be achieved. But y'all,
go to church.
my Bible people, you know what I mean. When 2 or more are gathered, y'all know. But when 2 or more are gathered, that is when true creativity lies, because we all have bias, right? If you have a brain, you have bias. So when you go to things with your own wants, needs, situations, you're going to be very solo focused. And I kind of talked about in my story, I started out saying I wanted to do one thing. And then, like you said, my gift made room. And I had to be open and flexible and collaborate with others and say, hey, okay, I can do consulting. Yeah. Oh, okay, I can do business development and pitching and advising. Those were things that were added because I was able to take the advice, feedback, and just allow myself to be flexible. But in terms of collaboration, you are talking to a connector right here. So if you've never read The Tipping Point, please read it. I am a connector by trade. I don't know if it's my New Orleans roots. We are people that remember. We can talk to you 7 years ago and something can come up and we're like, oh, I know somebody that does that.
Yes.
Oh, I know somebody that does that. That has always been me. And I think that is why, one, I was very successful in my career coming up because I came straight from New Orleans to the DMV. And I'm just like, so many people, and connection in the DMV is kind of like a golden ticket to just being everybody's friend, to be perfectly honest. But that was just something I naturally was good at. And I didn't even see it as something that was maybe a gift. But I would say for my career and for my business, it has been my lifeline, especially for my business. 95% of my business is referral based. 95%. That means someone thought so well of you that they said, let me bring my friends and other trusted partners and refer them or recommend you to them. So that has been great. Collaboration is the reason I've been able to grow and to say, this shouldn't be this pigeonholed idea, or maybe I should do things differently. That is me being open enough to have mentors, sponsors, and gain feedback, right, from people and saying, hey, what's working, what's not working. I actually took majority of 2021 and just sat back and said, okay, Deshaun, what do you really want to do? Like, what is it? Because you got like 9 things. What are the things that are most important to you? Because yes, you want to have people tell you what they would like you to do for them, but you have to see what the need is in the world. But then what does that do to align with your desires, your needs, what brings you joy and happiness? There are so many people that are successful and unhappy, right? Because they're feeling the need, but it ain't really what they're called or they love doing. So collaboration for me has not only allowed me to get new business, it's also allowed me to stay in my lane, which is why coming off on a social media sabbatical, it really doesn't scare me, right? I think I've done enough good in the world where it's going to come back to me. But collaboration and connecting, I mean, I have been in rooms like I'm a whole councilwoman, right? That is because of a relationship or collaborating with something 5 years ago. My newest position, I sit on the board of directors for ITSMF. This is an organization birthed with creating more Black executives in C-suite positions. I'm the youngest one on that board. That came through collaborations and connections with people 3 years ago. So you never know when you're going to need that connection, but you need people. We are in a people-based business. Without people, we have no business. Without people, there is no podcast. You can interview yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Without people, there is no event production. When I'm gonna go to a studio and just talk to the wall, we need people. And as long as you need people, collaboration is not an optional, it's mandatory, because if you don't give people what they want, they're not gonna come back. Or they're not gonna be served, right? So where 2 or more are gathered, that is where success lies. Especially
my. Come on, you take me to church. Take me to church. I love it. Deshaun, talk a little bit about what. So obviously you're a connector. Real recognize real, and you're looking familiar, right? So I as a connector myself, I think that's why we gel. But what would you say is one of the biggest challenges that people face when it comes to collaboration?
Sometimes you get overwhelmed with feedback. And I had to learn really quick that feedback is just feedback, right? Because like I said, we're all coming from different positions, different ideas, different situations. 5 of us can look at one document or one graphic and have 5 different ideas based on who we are. Because like I said, we're all biased. And for me, it was kind of, I had to learn sometimes I need to kind of have my own little, this is what I'm going to do. And there are certain areas where collaboration is needed. And there are certain areas when the only person I need to collaborate is the Lord, right? Because there are some things you are called to do that other people are not going to understand. I think there was a meme that went around last year that was like, your calling was not a conference call, right? Like between you and whoever your spiritual being is, it's not a conference call between you, and you got to confirm with 9 other people. So for me, it was discerning what areas require collaboration In what areas am I called to do what I have to do? And I have to stay focused, even if others don't immediately agree, because this is something that I am called to do. I always give my students the Steve Jobs example, right? When Steve Jobs first was talking about this iPhone, the world was not ready. They thought that man was crazy. And guess what? He got fired. A lot of people don't know that. He tried to pitch that a long time ago. And they were like, what? Because they weren't ready. But then when the world finally, it took some years, they were like, you know what? Somebody was talking about this technology. What? Oh, it was Steve. Hired him back and he changed the game. So sometimes you have to be willing to walk alone for a little bit, but trust when it's time, you will always get called back, right? So some things, it's you the only one that has to see it. And then for other things, you really need the collaboration to keep you accountable and make sure you're doing the right thing. So it's discerning the difference in the two.
This is excellent. This is excellent. So as we begin to land the plane, Deshaun, talk a little bit about who do you, when you're out and about, obviously you're a connector, and opportunities come your way. But let's say for you being intentional about collaboration, who do you keep your eyes open for that you want to collaborate with? Like if they were listening to this conversation right now, and they heard what you had to say, and they was awaiting just the opportunity to possibly work with you, who would those people be that you're looking to collaborate with?
All right. I'm gonna give you my real vain answer, and then I'm gonna give you my real answer, right?
Yeah.
Vain. Bazoma St. John is like my shero. So if you are listening to Bazoma, we met before, but she is literally from a perspective of being a boss woman who is very unapologetic about what she brings to the table. I would love to work with her. I would say it took me years to kind of get the confidence, especially as a Black woman in corporate America, to be okay with being misunderstood, right? Because sometimes you really are like, is it me? Am I doing too much? Am I too loud? Is my hair? And I think that woman just gave me what I needed to see in corporate America. Like she is 1000% herself, just flashy and amazing. And I love the way she puts together her creative ideas, her creative thought process. So being on her creative team would be a blessing. My really heart, and I say I have a burden. I have a burden for new entrepreneurs or people that have a story but are afraid to tell it. I am always like, I got you, boo. Like there are so many people with great ideas, but they don't know how to articulate it, or they just don't know how powerful their ideas are. I talk to a lot of college students. That's why I'm big on arts and STEM.
Yeah.
Because arts is more than just what I'm doing or creating or drawing. It's also conceptualization. It's storytelling. I have seen way too many times where people have this great idea, but they don't know how great it is or powerful. And someone buys it from them for $100,000 and then makes $5 billion.
Yeah.
And you're like, I could have helped you tell your own story, and one got a little bit more than 100,000, or you have been that billionaire, right? There are a lot of billionaire and millionaires in the making, but if you can't articulate to people why, people will take that idea and snatch it. They see it, right? And I am really, really, like I said, I have a burden for that. And then the Black wealth gap. That's where we start. We have so many ideas and we are not new to this. It's just sometimes we don't articulate it in a way that helps us actually be successful. And I feel like if the one difference between you being a thousandaire and a millionaire is just visually telling your story, I got you, because that is an easy problem to fix, but you have to have people that understand how the human brain and psychology works, right? Even with social media, we are being taught what to care about, right? It's like they're trying to force you, care about this. You need to like this. Other people like this, so you should like it too, or you're not cool. And I don't agree with it all the time, but sometimes you got to learn how to play the game so that you can play the game right. Right? We can complain about social media all we want, but there is still some good in it. It connects you with people that you may not have had before, and also you inspires people when they see what you're doing. So that is my burden for people that are new entrepreneurs, or like, should I be an entrepreneur? Or you're just like, look, I like doing this thing. How do I tell people? Visual storytelling is how you do it, because guess what? This virtual world is not going anywhere, anytime soon. So you can be an early adopter, or you can be a late bloomer. And by the time you're a late bloomer, we're already on to the next thing. And I would say with the Black wealth gap, we're always late bloomers. By the time we get it, they've already moved on to the next thing, and we are just getting the first thing. So I really want to make that my contribution, is creating more sustainable businesses the right way, because we have businesses, but we may not have always done it in a way that gets captured. So when we get metrics that says, you know, the fastest growing is this, sometimes those metrics are skewed because we weren't even in the number, and we should have been. So
No,
I know I gave you a lot, but
no, I love it. No, I love it. I love it. So you said you have to learn the game, but you have to learn it to play the game the right way. I love that. Deshaun, as we begin to close up, how can people reach out to you? Obviously, you're not on social media until a certain period of time, but if folks resonated with your message and they found value in what you had to say, and they felt like, listen, I need to connect with her because she's speaking my language, I want to collaborate. What is the best way for those listeners to connect with you if they see value in what you bring to the marketplace?
Awesome. My website is still alive and kicking, www.boomspeaks.com. I do have a newsletter. I would encourage you to sign up for that newsletter, because that's going to be my way to talk to people, let people know what I have going on, you know, do requests, things like that. My LinkedIn page is still active. I am just not using it, but feel free to send me a connect via there. I have someone that's going in and just accepting those, so that when I'm back, you know, you don't have to start from scratch. So even though I'm not posting, it's still active. But right now, the website, my email address is on that website, productions@boomspeaks.com. But really, really, really stress, join that newsletter, subscribe, because that is how I'm going to be communicating and really letting people know what I'm doing while I'm away.
Love it. I love it. I love it. So the last question I have for you is a little bit of a curveball, but I think you can handle it. Say, for example, as you know, we work with self-publishing 30 days. So we focus on connecting with aspiring authors and current authors to increase their visibility, credibility, and profitability. So say, for example, you're ready to put together your next book, and you had you can go anywhere in the world to write the manuscript. Where would you go if we were paying for it?
Maldives. That was not quick. Maldives.
I love it.
Put me in one of those little huts
by
by myself over the water, and let, you know, the earth tell me what I need to write.
I love it. I love it.
I think that is the most serene, like, quiet, from the pictures, because I've never been. It just seems like that is a place you can focus and get things done. So Maldives, hands down.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, you all have been blessed by the best with Deshaun Joseph, aka Boom, aka Boom Speaks, aka Miss Production, Miss Councilwoman. It's funny, man. I've been watching Power a lot lately, and the new book, book 2 with Ghost, anyway. Power book 2 Ghost. And whenever I think about, when I hear council person or councilwoman, councilman, I think about council right? Tate. I think about Councilman Tate, who's played by the Lorenz Tate, who I prayerfully, I'm gonna get him on this podcast as well, because that's one of my guys. Yeah, that's one of my guys. But I am truly, truly proud of you. Please, for those of you who are watching, listening, connect with Deshaun through the channels that she recommended. You know, support her mission of empowering, you know, new entrepreneurs. If you're a new entrepreneur and you're looking at ways to get your story out there, she's a phenomenal resource. She has a heart for the people, and she literally has a heart for the people. I can go on and on about how, you know, she was able to invest in participants in our LinkedIn recommendation challenge. Won't go too deep in terms of what she did, but she has a heart for people, and she wants to see people win. So if you connect with Deshaun, you have a friend for life. Once again, Deshaun, thank you for joining us. And listen, for those of you who don't know, there's 3 B's that I want you to align yourself with, and I want you to hold on to. Be encouraged, be blessed, but most of all, be faithful over the gift that you've been given, because your gift will make room for you. We'll see you on the next episode of YB's Collaboration Corner. God bless. Peace.